The Center for Interfaith Action on Global Poverty works to help faith leaders and their communities eliminate harmful traditional practices like female genital cutting and early marriage. Here's what we've done, what we've learned, and what we could do with your help to continue this work and help improve the lives of millions of girls. In the past 18 months, we conducted over 2,000 interviews in Ethiopia and Nigeria. We sat down with faith leaders, mothers, and girls of all denominations to find out what people believe, what they practice, and how might be the best way to speak to them. In Ethiopia and Nigeria, faith leaders are powerful influencers. In Muslim, Orthodox, and Christian communities, they are often the most trusted source of information. But we also learned that faith leaders are often silent, even if they disagree with these practices, because they don't have the knowledge and tools they need to convince people to change practices entrenched in their culture. One priest in Edo State, Nigeria said, "In my culture, it is absurd for a girl not to be circumcised." A Nigerian imam agreed, stating how female genital cutting and early marriage are almost universal in his culture, and that everybody wants their daughters to do what others are doing. However, when these faith leaders are equipped with enough information, they feel comfortable speaking out. One Orthodox priest in Amhara, Ethiopia, feels that once educated, it is the sacred duty of faith leaders to convince their communities to stop these practices. He said, "We cannot turn a blind eye to the suffering of girls." For real change to occur, faith leaders need to own the conversation. This is why we have created a toolkit full of activities, lessons, illustrations, and answers to some of the difficult questions people may have for them. We conducted comprehensive faith leader training sessions with messages, models, and tools adapted to their needs. Our 3-day training sessions were attended by 40 Ethiopian Orthodox faith leaders in Morit and Jiru and 31 Muslim faith leaders in Artume Farsi for a total of 71 participants. During the sessions, we engaged faith leaders in debates about female genital cutting and early marriage and how their religion does not condone it, discussed their community's attitudes towards women and girls, showed them diagrams of the normal female anatomy, something which many of them had never seen before, and in both groups, some participants were even inspired to make public pledges against female genital cutting and early marriage. In one community, at the request of local faith leaders, we publicly unveiled billboards declaring their religion's stance against female genital cutting and early marriage. 2 months later, SIFA's Ethiopia team returned to both training sites for follow-up visits. 97% of our trainees had begun speaking to their communities in small group settings, some even at the congregational level. They had reached out to their colleagues in neighboring communities and taught them what they had learned. They discussed the negative effects of female genital cutting with traditional circumcisers and even made them promise to never cut another girl. As one of our Ethiopian Orthodox trainees said, "The teaching is spreading like wildfire." Girls' lives are already being changed for the better as they are spared from cutting. Thanks to these few faith leaders, both Muslim and Christian, these communities are starting to change their attitudes towards girls. If this is what's happened with a few dozen faith leaders, imagine what we could do in a year with thousands. If we scale up the program, millions of girls could have a shot at a better life. In Edo, 200,000 girls are at risk of early marriage and 570,000 are at risk of female genital cutting. In Amhara, 1.8 million girls are at risk of early marriage, and 2.6 million girls are at risk of female genital cutting. To reach this many girls, we're going to need a massive communications network. Good thing much of that network has already been there for over 1,000 years. It's the faith community. It will take your help to reach faith leaders in this region, but then they'll take it the rest of the way. When faith leaders are committed to ending practices that hurt girls, girls thrive. And when girls thrive, communities thrive. Convince them to spread the word, and we can change the lives of millions.